For our interior this year, we built the model using speedform technology. The goal at this point is not to create a Class A surface, but to ensure that our concept model is well thought out before doing the detailed design. One of the things that people want to do to make a model more realistic is to add materials and stitching to the design. I want to work with the rear door. When working inside of Alias, I find isolating a layer helpful, and by holding the Alt key down while clicking on the door rear layer, all the geometry goes away except for the door. By holding Shift while clicking on the hidden layers, all the geometry returns. Let me isolate the door again. When working with stitches, two things you should probably do to start the process. First, I'll change the visual mode so that I can ensure that the right material is assigned. The easiest way to do this is scroll down in the resident shaders to the material that you think you want to use and then click it. Click the Pick Objects button. In this case, if the door geometry is selected, this is the correct material. The other thing you want to do is make sure that the correct layer is selected. This is really true for most alias operations. I tend to work with shelves, and I've placed the Stitch and Seam tool there for easy access. There are two tools I want to show in Stitch and Seam. These are the deck and the none stitch. Let's start with the deck. The deck tool creates a deck shape and stitch along an edge or curve on surface. When I use a tool like this, I typically like presetting the values, so when I get to my shape, I should be close. In the edge, we have two surfaces to choose from. Let me start with the top one and see what happens. When the edges are selected, you see a pointer on the screen. This is the direction of the surface to put the stitch on. Up is correct. The stitch is formed, and the stitches are on the top edge. I want it the other way. Selecting the bottom surface edge will build the stitch in the direction I want. The stitch looks great, giving a nice bulge, followed by the stitches. All these items can be controlled inside the interface. Another new tool to the stitches is the jitter control. This adds non-uniformity to the stitches, making them look more realistic. The other tool that I wanted to talk about is the None tool. And what this really means is that it won't have any seams. The None tool creates a stitch without making a seam. It has all the controls you want to control the stitch, the angles, and of course jitter.